So what we having today, we're going to make some arepas, some Venezuelan arepas. Very simple. But to that, to add to it, we're going to have some Mojo steak that I have marinating already. And we're going to make some Guasacaca, which is a Venezuelan avocado sauce. So we're going to get started with that. So with the Guasacaca, what it is a bunch of avocado. So we're going to add some avocado to the blender. Some ripe avocado. A whole avocado. This is probably not the best way to get avocado out. It looks a little messy, but it works. Squeeze the avocado right in there. Then you're going to put some onion, a whole white onion in there. We're going to put some vinegar in there. Some garlic. And some, normally they would use jalapenos, but I have habaneros and I like spicy, so I added the whole habanero. So we're going to take that, we're going to close it up, and then we're going to blend it till smooth. Oh, my hand's messy. Let me wipe that down. So we're going to blend that up. So now that the avocado is all pureed up, it's not done. We're going to add a whole bunch of cilantro, a whole bunch of parsley in here. We're going to add some olive oil to smooth it out. And we're going to blend it up again with some salt, get some flavor in it, and then we're going to taste it. Then we're going to go back to the blender. That up until it's nice. You see that color getting that nice darker green? That's what we want. So we're going to blend that up until all that incorporates, get about that color, and then we're ready to go. Added some olive oil, some salt to that, just to smooth it out a little bit more and get that salt incorporated. And like I said, I don't really like avocado, but this is actually really delicious. It's more like a spicy herb mayo. The avocado is kind of just used, I guess, for color and creaminess. So it's actually really, really good. I can't wait to actually put this on these arepas. So now that the guasacaca is done, it's time to get started on these arepas. What we're doing with arepas is literally 3 ingredients. It's masa harina, or cornmeal, fine cooked, pre-cooked cornmeal, or masa arepa, which I'm using, harina de maíz amarillo, so yellow cornmeal, basically really fine, water and salt. That's really all it is, but of course I don't do anything simple, so I'm going to flavor this up a little bit. So I have the masa arepa, or the harina de maíz, the corn flour. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a chive and garlic arepa. So I have these chopped dried chives that are going to let off a lot of flavor when that water get in there. Add that to the mix. And of course, I'm going to add some dry garlic powder, right? Just to get it some flavor. And then I'm going to hit it with the salt and start pouring that water in. So I added some salt. You want a good amount of salt because it's like, that's where the flavor is coming from. It's not much going on here, so you want to add a lot of salt to it. And then we're going to just start adding the water little by little to create this dough. Add a little water, mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, just to create this dough. Add some more water. We're going to mix that up, mix it up, until we create like a little bit of a dough. So this is about the texture we want, right to where you can roll it into a ball, but you don't see any creases, because that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to roll them in the bowls and then make them into little discs. So what you need is a bowl with some water and some oil just to help you roll and it don't stick to your hands, and then you get started. So I'm going to try to show you as much as I can with one hand, but then I'm going to have to stop and make them on my own. So you're just going to dip your hand in that water and oil. Just get it on your palm and grab a good amount of the arepa and you're just gonna roll it into a ball. I can't do it with one hand. It's just, I'm good, but I ain't that good. But you're just gonna roll it into a ball and set it to the side. So now we got these little balls of arepa balls. And we're going to flatten them out, make them like a little disc, little sandwich pockets. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it, you're going to use two hands normally, but just to show y'all, I'm going to flatten it out like that, right? And then just make it nice and round like a little disc, just enough, just thick enough so you can cut it open and put something in there, but not too thick to where it's like going to take forever to cook. So now that we got them out into these discs, I'm gonna cover them with a damp rag or a damp paper towel just so they don't dry out while I get the stove ready, the griddle ready, and get the steak ready. So what we have here is some Mojo marinated steak. Mojo is usually used for flank steak, for like carne asada, for tacos and stuff. But I figured I'd try something a little bit different. So what's in there is some oranges, some lime, some fresh orange juice, some fresh lime juice, some serrano chili, some garlic, some cilantro, and salt and olive oil. And we just let that soak in for like 8 hours from this morning. And then we're going to take it out, let it come to room temperature, wipe it down, and then we're going to grill it. It's been sitting there for a while. Usually, like I said, it's done with a thinner piece of steak, like flank steak, but I had a New York strip, so I went with that. So I'm going to make sure I wipe this steak dry because it's nothing worse than grilling with wet protein. So I'm going to wipe it dry. All that flavor should have already, sunken into that meat while it was marinating so long. So we're going to dry it up, let it get to room temperature, because you also don't want to put cold protein to a high heat because it causes the muscles to tense up and it'll make for a really tough, rubbery cut of meat. What you want to do is let it get up to room temperature and then cook it so that way the muscles of the meat don't get shocked. Anytime you shock something that much, you get a tough piece of meat. So what we got here is my cast iron flat top that I'm just going to rub down with a whole bunch of butter, because that's what we want to cook these arepas in, butter. Why? Because butter got flavor. So I'm going to make sure that this get totally coated in butter, get nice and hot, and then we're going to go and brown the arepas on this flat top. I'm not trying to have the heat too high just because my alarm goes off really quickly in my house. So it might take a little longer than usual, but it's going to be okay. So now that butter, you see it bubbling up a little bit, we're going to hit the arepas with it. Put them right on this flat top, right on top of all that delicious butter, all that flavor, and we're going to brown them up with a nice toasty bottom, and then we're going to finish them in the oven. We're going to let these go for a few minutes just till they get nice and toasty on the bottom. We're going to flip them over to the other side, do the same thing, and then we're going to pop them in the oven for a few just to cook all the way through. Okay, so they're starting to smell nice and toasty. I'm going to flip one, see if we got any color on it. Just want that golden brown color. See if we got that on one of these. Oh yeah, you see that how I got nice and toasted and golden? I think I still want to let them go for a little bit, and then we're going to flip them all over. Yeah, so they all starting to get that golden exterior, as you can see. So I'm going to flip them all over, let them do the exact same thing on the other side, and then pop them in the oven. Look at that. That's delicious. Looks amazing. Golden, glistening. This is exactly what I want. Now that these are done, well, not done, but they're done getting golden brown on the outside, I'm just going to put them in a pan, transfer them to a pan, and just let them cook through. While that's cooking through in the oven for a few minutes, we're going to get the steak going. I feel it. So now that steak has reached about room temperature, I hit it with salt and pepper on both sides, and then I'm just gonna take it straight to the oiled grill. A nice little sear on both sides, some nice grill marks. And then we're gonna pop it in the oven to finish. Then we'll be ready. Let's check the color on this steak, see how we looking. Oh yeah, we got some nice grill marks. Some beautiful grill marks on that. We'll just grill it on this side for a minute and then stick it in the oven. Got this steak out the oven. It read 155, so it should be somewhere, well actually it read 152. So it should be somewhere between medium rare and medium. I like medium, so I'm gonna let it rest for like 10 minutes and then slice it up, and then we be ready to plate up. I'm just gonna let it rest on the cutting board, slice against the grain, and we're gonna be ready to plate up. Got these bad boys out the oven already, so we're just gonna cut those open. Actually, I'm gonna cover them so they can stay warm, and then slice them up and we're ready to go. So now we got that steak all sliced up. About to cut open this beautiful arepa and plate up. So normally I wouldn't cut it all the way open, but I wanted to show you guys the inside. It's like a cross between an English muffin and a tamale. It looks amazing. I'm about to plate up. I'm about to hit it with some of that avocado sauce, that Guasacaca, that beautiful green avocado sauce on the bottom. Then I'm gonna hit it with a couple pieces of this beautiful steak. Right? And then I have some pickles, which is basically like a little cabbage slaw that I'm just gonna add on because I had it and I like it. And I had some marinade that I didn't put on the steak that I just left to the side, and I created just like a little bit of a sauce. I just reduced it down with some honey, and I'm gonna pour that right on top of it as well. Then we're gonna have us a nice arepa sandwich. We got a beautiful arepa with some mojo strip steak and some guasacaca on the bottom. Looking delicious.